So today we're going to look at the chart for Jonny Cash, who was a singer, songwriter. Um, and first, we want to look at the eastern horizon. When he was born, we see the constellation relating to Pisces rising at 0 degrees. So this 0 degrees is the most effective point of every house. So any planet or node of the moon, like K2, which is within 5 degrees, has some impact. So yeah, that's the main thing. So okay, so let's see how the planets are operating, and we'll see when they are operating in terms of predictions and events in his life, and then we'll see what could have been done in terms of remedies in this chart. So, first of all, Sun is ruling the sixth house. The sign of Leo you see in the sixth house. Any Multricona signs, 1, 4, 5, 7, 9, and 11, that are found in the sixth, the eighth, and the 12th house become functional malefic. For this chart, for a Pisces chart, Sun, Venus, and Saturn are all functional malefic, along with Rahu and Ketu, which are all functional malefic for every chart. So Sun is ruling this house of health issues, um, conflicts, disputes, and it had to do with his health and his addictions. Moon is ruling Cancer, you see, in the fifth house. So Moon is ruling the house of children, investments, and education. And it is placed in a house of research um, and obstacles. So, again, this also has to do with mind and addiction, emotions and addiction, vulnerability in terms of mind, and led to addiction, depression. Mars is, you see, Aries in the second house. So Aries is ruled by Mars. Mars is placed in the this house of depression and addiction and spiritual growth. He was a very spiritual person, very religious, and it brings wealth and recognition through voice, singing. Mercury is at 13 degrees, and it is also placed in the 12th house of addictions, and it also has to do with mind and intellect and communication. And it is ruling the house of partnerships and relationships. So it's combust because it's very close to the sun, within 5 degrees of the sun, and it brought some conflict into his relationships. And Mercury also has to do with the nervous system, and he died of Parkinson's disease. So Mercury, Mars, Saturn all can be related to Parkinson's. Moon also. So Jupiter is at 22 degrees. Jupiter, you see Sagittarius in the 10th house of career. So Jupiter rules career, and it is placed in the house of education, relationship, and investments. So whenever Jupiter is weak, its dispositor is weak because its moon placed in the eighth house. So bring some vulnerability into his morality, his judgment, and so it gave him some weak morals, um, above the law kind of feeling, and also give him ability to teach through music. Let's see, Venus is at 23 degrees, and we already determined that it's ruling this house of vulnerability, obstacles, research into spirituality, placed in the first house. So Venus also has to do with entertainment, and then because it's weak, led to diabetes. I think diabetes is actually the cause of death. Excuse me. Saturn, ruling this 12th house of addiction, depression, and spiritual growth, placed in the house of income. So his ability to express his depression, feeling separate, um, gave him addiction, but also the ability to create kind of a country blues kind of music that brought income. Rahu and Ketu, because they're close to the most effective point, they can they create affliction to several of his houses. So K2 is afflicting the house of relation. K2 and Rahu. He had multiple marriages. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Income. He had some. I think he had a lot of debts at some point. 6, 7. Body. Lifespan. Life purpose. 8, 9. This would be ability to express himself, or entrepreneurial success. And then you got Rahu 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Health 6, 7. Vulnerability 8, 9. Career. So all of those were afflicted. So let's look at when the planets were operating. His brother died during a Mars period. Mars has to do with siblings and brothers. Let's see. I got a divorce during a K2 period. K2 is afflicting relationships. He got addiction during a Saturn period. He got into the Hall of Fame during a Mars period. Mars was his wealth and recognition, inducted into the Hall of Fame. Had diagnosed of Parkinson's during a Mercury period. Mercury has to do again with Parkinson's and his nervous system. And then died during in 2003 due to diabetes. So let's look at this. On September 12th, 2003. So September 12th, 2003, you see K2, unexpected events in the house of death-like experiences. And we want to look and see if there's anything close to 0 degrees. Venus, Rahu, and K2 all. So Rahu and K2 again, afflicting, 6 out of his 12 houses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is is also the house of death, 6, 7, 8, 9, home life. And then you have Rahu in this house of um, 1, 2, health, 6, 7. Venus is also close to the rising sign degree, and it is being directly affected by K2. Natal K2 is afflicting transit K2 of Venus, which is Venus's pancreas and diabetes. So yes, a lot of things going on there when he died. So remedies. So remedies for Pisces chart would be to strengthen Mars, Moon, um, Mercury, Jupiter, and those would give him better relationships, um, better wealth, um, less addictions, by wearing a kavash that contains, it's a locket that contains the Devata yantras of those planets that would strengthen those weak planets. And then we want to transform. We don't want to strengthen Saturn, the functional malefic. So we want to transform Sun and Venus and Saturn. Now Sun we would do by listening to Vishnu chants on Sundays, um, helping people who cannot help themselves, along with Saturn, same thing, listening to Shiva chants on Saturdays, Venus, listening to Lakshmi chants on Fridays, and helping women. And then Rahu Ketu, helping spiritual organizations and people who cannot help themselves, as well as Ganesh chants on Thursdays and Shiva chants on Saturdays. So those are the remedies for this chart that probably would have prolonged his life and gave him greater success, but he was very successful. Thank you for the listening. If you have any questions, or if you want to Vastu, I mean, Vedic astrology reading, transformational Vedic astrology reading, you can go to vastucreations.com under services. There are several types of readings. Or if you want to learn how to do transformational Vedic astrology, you can go to American Institute of Vastu.com and sign up for our astrology programs. Thank you for listening.